Hello. You find yourselves sometime during the day of September 2nd. You've been awake for a while now, haven't you? Those awful cots back in the way station were all you had last night. Swimming through this cold, contaminated water in the mine contributes to your feeling of exhaustion. The sails above disturb the air in novel ways. You watch as dusty snow passes by your feet in peculiar undulations. Life can get a little strange sometimes. 60 miles south, you can see in your mind's eye grim men living in canvas tents at the edge of the forest. They can eat rations for a 10-day and not complain. It is such when you are suitably motivated. Roll initiative. Wow, is this a natural 20 on initiative?
That's right, I got a 19.
Told her Talton with a 19.
15.
31.
Lagging on my end.
Lissa Gastmere with a 15. Was that Euros with a 31?
Yeah.
Got it.
What? 18.
20.
Ada with a 14.
And I have Brenner with an 18, Nothing Gold with a 20, and Ada with a 14. At the top of the order, here in this chilly cave, I have Euros. Hello.
Hello.
It's your action.
So yours has been at the back of the cave the entire time, while everybody has gone up and peeked at the sails, the things outside. He hasn't seen this, so he can only kind of envision what it is, so he's going to quickly push his way to the front and take a look.
Please do so. We will give you the peeking out of the cave, having heard people talk about this, looking out to make sure you can gaze on what everyone else has gazed on. Let's change your viewport to just outside. You can see, and you're not sure if they can see you as you peek out and view them. You see this, Euros. You see 6 scared horses. You see a massive spelljammer suspended in the air. You notice there are 2 red dragons, subadult but certainly still rather large, flying in circles around the spelljammer. On the spelljammer itself, you see some type of humanoid figure looking down over the edge, perhaps watching for you. There is no obvious sign of hostility insofar.
Can I make an insight or a perception roll to kind of gather more information on their body language to see if they're anxious or if they are impatient or if they're, I guess, hostile in how they are standing and waiting?
I love this line of questioning. How about insight?
Sure. It's only a 6.
You sense disquiet, impatience perhaps, but it's tough to put your finger on exactly what emotions their body language would belie.
I'm going to chalk it up that they're just a little too far for me to kind of gather some information.
Let's put you back inside the cave here. Unless you choose to go outside or I misinterpreted your intention.
No, I will not step outside. I do not know the full scope of the situation, so... But I am very much curious to what is going on, so I was at least pushing my way to the front to figure something out.
And you find yourself now shoulder to shoulder with Ada, who had just stuck her head out, and Gastmere, who was gazing out just before we ended our last session.
I will look at Yoros and shake my head.
May I clarify that? You shake your head like this, like a shaking your head no?
Like, in despair. Not good, I'm communicating.
I can see that. I can see it's very much not good. But these old eyes can't quite see the full scope of it.
You can't quite wrap your head around the shape of what's happening here.
No, I cannot. I don't have any other ideas for the situations outside of merely gathering information, so I will hold.
And the action passes to Nothing Gold.
So Nothing Gold had just finished weaving the spell Sanctuary to protect Taldred, as he has been designated the sacrificial token of the party towards the Githyanki. Okay, so I'm going to ask some fairly obvious questions. Red dragons, bad? Evil?
Are you
Okay.
asking to the party or over the table?
Over the table, like what's reasonable for somebody in this realm to know?
Bad.
Why
Okay.
don't we, if I may intervene, could you roll a history check, Nothing Gold?
We just saw a red dragon being decapitated. Okay, I don't know why that went with advantage, but 6.
You are passingly aware of the Githyanki. They are denizens of the astral plane and well known as tyrants. You are reasonably familiar, even with this 6, that red dragons are typically a symbol of evil. However, all dragons are intelligent creatures, as are the Githyanki as well, and certainly these are not mindless creatures. This is not a frothing at the mouth evil. This is a careful, collected, self-centered faction of people.
Gotcha. And I have to imagine, since the spell plague, I remember demons had been a thing that were introduced in the last campaign, that there probably have been more and more reports of entities from other planes essentially invading. Like, that's become more common.
Perhaps even some of your companions have fought against some of those extraplanar creatures. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think Nothing Gold will ask out loud, has anyone dealt with these kinds of people before?
No, I've never thought of Dragon Rider before. Mostly men.
I've never crossed swords with the Githyanki, but I do have some knowledge about the astral plane, the denizens.
This is brand new.
I got nothing.
Can I roll history about the Githyanki to see if I know anything about their society?
Why don't you look skyward, Ada, and roll history?
I see the top of this cave. 20, non-natural.
You know, well, let me reflect the probings of your mind. What do you seek to understand about the Githyanki, the astral plane, or red dragons?
I am not looking to find out about red dragons. What I am looking at is what drives these people, what the regimentation of their society, what they could be motivated for being here is. So, for example, if they were... Ada knows both Abyssal and Infernal. Infernal is spoken by rational thinking, evil regimented people, whereas Abyssal is spoken by shrieking, mindless fiends. So I'm looking for a general approach. What would appease such a organization?
You infer several things in that spectrum. One, language-wise, you know that were you to listen for abyssal, celestial, anything like that, you would not find it. The Githyanki speak Gith. However, as travelers amongst the plains, many of them speak common. You also know that the Githyanki have entered an uneasy alliance with Shar. This has been the case for many years, prior to the Spell Plague. This is well documented and quite well understood. In reference to your questions regarding Githyanki society and motivations, you know that the Githyanki are highly religious. You know that they revere order and the mysticism of ordinary things. The Githyanki can find a certain religious experience from a sword that is just sharp enough, from armor that deflects the right attacks, from the feeling of the wind on their face as they're riding a dragon. And you know that many Githyanki are, in fact, dragon riders. Does that authoritatively...
That is perfect. Now that I'm thinking...
I believe it's still Nothing Gold's turn.
Oh yeah, but we're still conversing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to remove if there was an action as a part of this.
I don't have an action in mind, so I'm also okay letting play proceed. She might assist someone, maybe Taldred, as if he's immediately stepping forward. She will attempt to use the help action.
Well, Taldred is next in initiative, so if you are passing your turn, Taldred, you look perplexed. Did I skip somebody? I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay. Nothing gold. Anything with your action?
No, unless I can help and offer Taldred advantage on whatever he's planning on doing, then I do not have anything in mind.
I think you can hold your action as a reaction to assist Taldred in.
Okay, that sounds good.
Whatever he may do with the turn that it's just became his.
The first thing Taldred would do is turn to the group and say, does anyone know anything about these people?
I will annoyingly speak up. Yes, the Gith are a regimented society. They're a theocracy. They believe in order and brutality. And might I say, I have read that they're now followers of Shar since the Spell Plague.
As soon as Taldred hears that, he takes his holy symbol and tucks it in his shirt.
Yes. I would make no mention of your allegiance. I think they will be direct with what they want, and you will have to directly answer them.
Sounds simple enough. Are we ready for this? Does anyone want to step outside with me?
I'll go
Yes,
with
I
you.
will.
Won't speak. Better to have a shield.
Okay.
Yours is very visibly uncomfortable once Ada mentions that information, but yours will also go outside with you.
How do you express your discomfort?
My arm shakes a little bit. So, to give some context in my armor, one side of my armor is much heavily armored than the other. So, and then...
When you say sides, you mean left, right, front, or back?
Yeah, so my left side has like
Okay.
like a heavy gauntlet on it and everything like that. It's fully armored, whereas the other side is just regular leather armor. So sort of like what a duelist would wear. So it's like weight displacement, but you can see that the left side that is heavily armored, it starts to shake because you can hear the metal clanking a little.
Okay, one thing I did want to talk about, would it be... I would like to imagine that Taldred took some of the food with him when he summoned that food and water. He didn't want to eat it down there, but now that they're up here, is it, like, would it be okay to kind of like retcon that, or...
I
Let me
think
know.
I think that's reasonable. Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So Taldred's going to step outside.
Before we do that action, let's go. We're going to go fully through one iteration of the initiative order, and
Gotcha.
then anyone who follows Taldred, if that's the case, we will do that in one slug of action. Next up in the initiative order, I have Brenner.
Brenner is just waiting for Talder to exit the cave at this point. Just standing in tow. With no real action in mind.
Nothing on your mind, Mr. Oswick?
Other than the 2 dragons and giant boat, not much. Just worried for their safety.
Anything else on your turn?
Be a solid no.
Lissa Gastmere.
I think other people have already rolled on stuff like knowing about the Githyanki, but is it possible to roll on like what my character would know about the Spelljammer?
Absolutely. So, to speak to your first point, just because someone else has already attempted to discern something, you can certainly as well. For example, if you wanted to roll history and plumb the depths of Gasmir's understanding of the Githyanki, I think that would be perfectly reasonable. If you would prefer to focus on something new, like the Spelljammer, which no one has really examined their mind for first, that is certainly your prerogative. However you would like to approach it.
I think my character would actually be more interested in the ship. So I think I'd actually like to have her think on that. Am I rolling history?
Please.
Okay. Let me check my bonus. Okay. 17.
Has Gastmere ever met anyone from another plane?
That's a good question. Would those be the sort of people who would have visited the Meiji place?
Waterdeep. There's so many Meiji places. Waterdeep.
Probably like wherever she basically studied before the spell plague hit.
Gastmere has a cosmopolitan background, so I think it's reasonable to approach this 17. One of the reasons why I ask is this is a how do I put this delicately? You're very close to a DC here,
Okay.
so I would say let's work this out together. You know that a spelljammer is you know 2 things about spelljammers. One, you know that they are helmed. That is to say, the control of the spelljammer resides in the hands of a single entity. So there is someone or something that controls this, and often there is some symbol of that power. Sometimes the helm of a spelljammer is like a chair that you sit in. Sometimes the helm of a spelljammer is a crown that you wear, something like that. So that is one thing that Gastmere is able to discern about spelljammers. Gastmere also is aware that spelljammers are used to travel through the planes. That is to say, this could probably spontaneously appear or reappear at this spot as if it's sailing from this point in space in another plane. So it could likely quickly egress this situation if necessary.
Okay. So it's not that weird that it showed up randomly because it can literally do that. Okay. That sounds like good information, actually. Other than that, she is also waiting for the others to move out, and she's going to move out as well. So she turns like sharply on her heels and stands ready to flank the others.
Anything else with your action?
I think that's it.
Ada Worthware.
I'll look around at the steeled faces of my group and express, I think one of us should stay here with the miners.
Agreed.
And to be clear, this is not and melee we're about to enter. We are going out to parlay. Does everybody agree with me?
As much as
Yes.
is
But
within our
one should
control.
always prepare.
I agree. Well, who would like to stay with them? I think I have some utility out there.
What if things go south? What then?
Oh yeah, should we not bring the miners with us in case we
No.
need to suddenly flee?
I doubt we could outrun dragons. Conversely, I say if things do go south, we may in fact be best served by falling back into the mine.
I agree. The dragons can probably not get through the mouth of this cave. At least in dragon form.
They spit whatever breath they have down it, though.
Euros, you infer that this could be a tomb.
Certainly, I don't feel we have the upper hand here, and we should do everything we can to avoid a fight. I'm
Naturally.
no tactician, but
I just think that the woods would give us more cover than you give them credit for, and I think that we're still in range of that elven sniper that was posted, yes?
Do you expect the elves to help us?
A common enemy?
Certainly not something to rely on.
No, it's just an option. I'm just saying I do not want to die here, and I do not want to stay here when we're supposed to go back to Arabel very soon. So I would rather plan to run. I do not understand your reticence.
Okay. You want to run with these malnourished miners.
As you say that, you can hear around the corner a sickening cough. You're used to the coughs by person now. Guess that was Lazian.
well, if there's no volunteers, I can stay with the miners. It's not a big deal.
No, you should definitely be out there.
Well, Nothing Gold, it sounds like you want to stay in here.
If you'll take my rabbit with you, then I will.
Of course I will, thank you. I'm good to go.
If the party has concluded their discussion, why don't you set up a marching order? Why don't you show me how you're going to exit the cave? It sounds like you're planning a bit of a procession here, so why don't you arrange yourselves here at the mouth of the cave as you'd like to appear on the outside of the cave? If you'd like to make any adjustments.
Taldr would like to be at the front.
Is this what you currently have here finalized? Go ahead and slap that ready button if you're ready.
Looks like a perfect arrangement for getting breathed on.
Gasmir, you have a sense of dread. You know that is, in fact, how red dragons kill their prey.
I'll just redraw the rabbit token when we're outside.
One moment. You appear. Far above you, in the crow's nest of this spelljammer, you can see someone peering far, far down on you. The horses seem a bit spooked. At the top of the order, actually, it sounds like people are deferring to Taldred. Is that right? Are you letting is everyone deferring their action until Taldred takes the action? Is that what I'm inferring from people's? I'm not stepping on anyone by saying that, am I? Euros, Gasmir.
Go forth, Captain.
I will just follow closely behind.
Okay.
Taldred seems like he wants to take the lead, so I won't impress myself upon it.
Mr. Talton,
Mm-hmm.
roll initiative for me.
3.
Okay. In this flow of actions, the Githyanki acts first. So you are representing the party. 80 feet above you in the air, it is difficult to maintain a conversation like this, but this Githyanki seems poised to try. You notice Taldred as he peers over. All of these Githyanki are wearing armor, and you can see what little bits aren't armored, such as just little bits around his eyes, chin, neck, just tiny bits that are exposed. They'll have lime green skin. It reminds you a little bit of Nothing Gold. The Githyanki all have heavy armor, and you notice that the two dragon riders certainly take notice of you in the party. You are no longer subtle. They all seem aware of you. One of the dragons cries out, not a roar, but certainly some noise of discovery. Taldred Talden, you hear a voice far above you. Finding my miners I am.
Taldred just looks up.
Alex! The Mithril! Finding the miners! Wondering where the Mithril is.
Taldred turned back to the group who had the mithril.
Nothing gold.
That's
Nothing
what I
gold.
thought. I had a feeling. Taldred says, someone get the mithril?
Okay.
Excusing! Where is it?
Taldred holds up this, right, which he assumes is like the universal finger for 1 goddamn second.
Roll insight.
$11.
Waiting we have already done! Creating delays, you are?
Taldred shakes his head. He's not going to yell at this guy.
I will quickly go get the mithril.
She'll hand over a quarter of it.
Let's unwind these various actions one at a time. So first, Euros, you are going to retrieve Nothing Gold, is that correct? Or you are going to retrieve the
I'm
Mithril?
gonna go retrieve the mithril.
Okay.
I have no care for a lump of rock.
You care not for these mundane goods. One moment.
I'm a soldier, not a blacksmith.
Euros,
Yes, sir.
you enter the mouth of the cave here at Garden Reach. From outside, you hear a Githyanki yelling at Taldred Talton from far above. It echoes in the mouth of the cave here. It's your action.
I will quickly approach Nothing Gold. We need them.
Oh no!
For a split second, I thought Nothing Gold dipped.
1 second, not sure what's going on.
Well, we're also in the same house, so that would be a reasonable.
It'd be really funny.
I think we're good. Okay, sorry. My Discord just randomly restarted. Back
Yeah, it updates.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled Euros approaching Nothing Gold.
I will quickly approach Nothing Gold, and I will simply ask, "We need the mithril."
I assume that the yelling is pretty perceptible. Like you can still make it out. Okay.
Yes.
She had divided the mithril up into like 4 quadrants, and it stuffed it into various pockets. So she reaches into 2 of her pockets and starts yanking out these rocks and pushing them towards Yoros, only half of what she had. And she says, we interrupted Alex in the middle of mining everything that she was supposed to. So make sure that Taldrin knows that this is not going to look like enough. He needs to make up a reason why he was interrupted.
Finally, someone with some faith in Taldred.
Can you do that?
Yes, I can relay that, but is this all the mithril you took?
Yes, of course. She says, bald face, you can't. I mean, I'll roll deception if the DM wants, but.
No.
She stares. Go. What are you waiting for?
All right, fine. I will quickly just grab the mithril and I will quickly make my way back outside.
You do so. You have you have 25 pounds of mithril rocks, a relatively low amount. These are small and dense. They're very, imagine mithril like lead, right? So 25 pounds of mithril, you can hold it in your hands. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I will take note that this doesn't seem like a lot, but I guess the rush of the situation doesn't make him think twice about it.
Do you have a sense that you may have been lied to?
Maybe an inkling in the back of my mind, but yours thinks nothing gold probably wouldn't do that at this moment. But yours also hasn't been around here a whole lot since we split up in the mine, so I don't know the full extent of what happened with the mithril or anything like that. And again, with his impatientness, he doesn't think twice about it. He just wants to get it back outside to Taldred.
In the realm of the impatient, while this occurs, outside, Taldred Talton, you continue to be shouted at by a Githyanki captain. Delaying us why? Finding mithril we are not.
Taldred has never heard someone talk this syntax, and honestly, he's trying to keep a straight face.
Wondering what your problem we are.
Taldred will actually yell up, "Working on it!"
So as you yell that, I will rush up behind you and I'll hand you what I have.
God, it's so unceremonious too. It's like not packaged at all.
Mm-hmm. So I will hand it to you and I will state, this is what Nothing Gold said she had. This is what I got. She also said something about Alex still in the middle of mining when they found her.
So this isn't all of it.
Is it not?
We're about to find out, sport. Taldred looks for there's like a bucket nearby or something, right? That Taldred can put the rocks in.
Yes, you can locate a simple bucket.
Taldred holds the bucket up.
Taldred Talton, as you hoist this old bucket with a flimsy wooden handle full of merely a few little shiny rocks, you have a sense of inadequacy. The Githyanki commander glowers. Wasting our time, you are? Finding no point in splitting half of that.
Half? Like he's saying that he's splitting it with us?
Yours is going to look back into the cave.
What are you looking for?
I think it's more of a reactionary glance that he finally realizes that this probably isn't all.
Taldred yells up, "This is what we have!"
Taldred, you watch something. Githyanki are quite energetic with use of Mage Hand. And you watch as 1, 2, 3, and 4 hands come down to grasp the bucket out of your hand. Do you allow this?
Yeah, he just... There.
4 small, disembodied hands reach and grab and ferry this thing up to the deck of the ship. There's a bit of a commotion as you assume the Githyanki are investigating it.
Asmir leans a bit closer to Taldred. Perhaps it's best to convince them that our share need not be as large as previously negotiated if we haven't got enough of it.
That sounds prudent.
Brenner nods emphatically.
You hear a voice. Mining? Not your forte?
Taldred yells up, "Not exactly."
Imagining the disappointment for your allies.
I'm aware.
Creating disappointment within us as well.
And I am so sorry for that. But there were difficulties.
Creating excuses, you are? Forging one bracer from this?
Good God, one bracer from 25 pounds?
Sounds like some unrefined methods.
Taldred says, "It's all we have right now."
The Githyanki confer amongst themselves in gruff, guttural voices.
Taldred takes out some of the food and he starts eating it. He's got like a handful of the nuts and he's just one at a time.
You eat your summoned food, waiting for time to pass. Anyone else take any interim actions here? You hear a voice. Compromising, we are looking to do.
Of course.
Coming back in 5 days we can.
That is acceptable.
Going into the mine, you will be.
Yes.
Bringing more ore back?
Much more.
Are we lying?
You have a sense that perhaps they don't quite trust you, Taldred Talden. Here on the inside of the mine, nothing gold. Any actions?
She's pacing back and forth, like looking between the miners and then out towards the mouth of the cave. And she was like on board until Taldred was like, "Oh yeah, we'll have much more ore," and then she's like, but no actions.
Lasian is starting to look perturbed and asks you, "What are they doing out there?"
I believe that Alex had a deal with these Githyanki. Are you familiar with them?
What the fuck is a Githyanki?
Someone from another plane. They ride red dragons. Maybe you've seen those.
Can we leave now?
We're working on it.
You sense a lack of interest in stories about red dragons. Seems implausible. Checking outside, where we find people dealing with red dragons. Any further actions, party? Anything you do in this interim time while the Githyanki consider your offer?
I would like to keep a special eye on when the boat lurches, who has the command item.
Why don't you roll insight?
I think Gasmir is interested in that as well, but
Would you like to roll insight as well, Gastmir?
2.
I will roll insight as well. Surely it can't be worse than a 2.
Mathematically, that is not true.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe they have bonuses.
Ada, your vision. Ada,
It's a 3.
your vision is a bit impacted by the loss of an eye and your advanced age. Looking up, you're having a hard time fixating on any one person. Gastmir, you find yourself looking skyward, attempting to discern, is there someone in particular who is commanding this vessel? The best you can do, Gastmir, is think, well, logically enough, it would probably be the commander, or the one who is shouting across the way here. You have no way of confirming this, however. That is merely your intuition.
Is also slightly distracted by like calculating the distance between the party and these two dragons that are right fucking there.
You find yourself a bit distracted. Taldry Talton, you hear a voice. Returning in 5 days, we will be.
Aldrich says, good.
Knowing you are not Alex, we are.
That's right.
Determining your name, we will be.
Okay.
I will whisper in Taldred's ear. They may be able to read minds.
Okay.
Taldred, you watch as the commander squeezes something in his hand. You feel the squeeze in your head. What's your name?
It's Taldred.
Who are you talking to?
Some douche.
How strange. This douche lives within your head? Very bizarre. You have a strange conversation with yourself, Taldred. It's difficult to discern what exactly is going on and who, if anyone, you're corresponding with. You sense that someone has discerned exactly who and what you are.
Okay.
Returning in 5 days, we will be, and expecting much more mithril we are, and knowing that your ally will be very upset if you are unable to deliver on your obligations.
Taldred yells, absolutely. And he makes a show. He picks up one of the pickaxes nearby and he starts heading back into the mine.
You do so, preparing for a shift in the Garden Reach mines.
I have got to take a 5-minute AFK. I will be right back. Sorry about this.
Why don't we take a fiver then? We're coming up on like 1 hour, so let's take a fiver now.
Okay, excellent.
Son of bitch.
What?
We gotta go and mine more mithril.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I got this holiday ale from the local liquor store near me. It's a New Belgium ale, and it's cranberry and spice.
Is it good?
Yeah, I actually like it a lot.
Does it have actual cranberry and spice in it, or is it like
Yeah,
taste
yeah.
like?
No, it says flavors of cranberry and spice and everything
Cool.
nice. But I can very much taste the cranberry, and it does have a red tint to it, so I assume there's cranberry in it. I like it. If you see it, I'd try it. So what you been up to?
Well, it's fucking Thanksgiving time. I'm making a cube right now. It's all over my desk.
Nice.
It's my 4th cube. This one, it's a 540 cube, and 63 of the cards are 2 cards. So like,
what do you mean? Two
like-
of the same card, or
no, 2 of a different card. You know, like there's just cards that are not good enough for cubes,
Yeah.
but you want to play them anyway. Well, I
Yeah.
packed them with a second card, so you'll be incentivized to do it. Like I have,
Oh, okay. That
the
makes
meld
sense.
pairs, for example,
Yeah. Okay. So you got all the Innistrad
like
melds
Thespian
and-
Stage, Dark Depths. Yeah, I have all.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I'm at like number 40 of making 63 pairs.
Nice.
Phyrexian Obliterator and a fight creature. So shit like that.
Do you need any of the new stuff?
I actually got in my shipment of all the cards I wanted from that new set today.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Yeah, because I bought a bunch of both set, as I usually do, just because I like cracking boxes.
Oh yeah, you're a pack. I usually just order the cards straight up. I just ordered
Yeah,
everything I was interested in.
I don't know why my webcam is like so blurry right now.
It's probably because you're low light. Got a bunch of these too. Arcane Proxy. So yeah.
Yeah, I got like 4 of them, I think. But yeah, I just like cracking the boxes because I like collecting the set, and I don't know.
No, that's
If
totally fair.
If
Yeah.
I can open it myself, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fun to do that. Don't get me wrong.
I have very much cut back on what I usually buy though.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
Wizards is far too aggressive.
Yeah.
Apparently turning the cam off and back on works.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Gets the focus back.
Well, I noticed my video connection like dipped to like 400 ms a minute ago, so maybe it just didn't recover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this thing. Frample got me. It's a little-
Corgi?
Oh, Korg boy.
Do you have a corgi, Frample?
I do not know, but I used to love them.
You don't anymore? What happened?
No, they're horrid. No, I still love them. I
They,
guess
they
past
are
tense
like
as well.
little dog homunculus.
Yeah, I want one really bad.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was mostly because of Bebop. And
What's Bebop?
Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop.
Bebop.
Oh, cowboy. Oh, right.
So that dog instilled a love of specifically that breed in me, to the extent that I bought Nintendogs exclusively to get a corgi on the DS when I was a child.
Nice.
Yeah, I've just been looking. Like, I have a. I don't know. I've been like following pounds and stuff like that in hopes of like I don't know, a corgi or something would show up. But it's like otherwise, like I gotta approach all these breeders nearby, and I don't know, man. I don't got the money for that.
Hello.
Hello.
Word up.
Corgis are like little suffering machines.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. I just need like a dog or something.
Yeah, we got some cats. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to
mean-
have companionship.
Yeah, I might. I don't know. I might get a cat too. Who knows? Cat or dog, something. Because as much as I love my birds, they don't love me.
Yeah. Birds don't have the capacity for love, only screaming.
The small ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Although Petco is apparently 50% off on birds right now, and there is a conure I've been looking at. His
My
name's
friend-
Sammy.
My friend has a cat. an African gray named Bongo, and he's had it since he's, I don't know, like since 5. So he's had it for like over 30 years.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna outlive him.
Definitely. And like Bongo has a better lifestyle than he does.
Yeah, dude, my birds are so spoiled.
At some point he got like 2 little horrific pugs, and they were like these little, like, suffering machines, like many of these cosmopolitan dogs are. Ooh,
Yeah, this is the bird I was looking at.
ooh, that's a pretty bird.
Yeah.
Birds are very nice looking. Anyway, it would like jump down on the ground and call out the dogs' names. Like it figured out the dogs' names, and the dogs would like freak out, like they didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they would like chase the dogs around, and the dogs would be like, "What's going on?" You'd be like, "Scooter, Scooter, come!"
Yeah, when I was growing up, we had a crow that my mom rescued that the cat got a hold of, and
Wow.
and so my mom nursed it back to health, and he just stuck around, and he learned some words and stuff, and he learned how to say our cat's name Albert, which was the one that originally caught him.
Wow.
Yeah, so like he would be sitting on my mom's shoulder, just like while she's doing her crafts, and he would just be like, Albert. And the cat would come in, and he's like all confused and shit. And the bird would just pick on him all day. And Albert knew, since he was like a family pet, he couldn't like attack him anymore.
Of course, yeah.
So you could tell he's just like, it is.
Yeah.
It was great. But dude, that bird was so wild. He really liked shredded cheddar cheese and tobacco.
Same, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah. Because my mom smoked a lot, so he would go like by the ashtray and he would like pick at the leftover
Oh,
cigarettes.
that's
And
gross, dude.
I know,
Ugh.
dude, he's a weird ass bird.
That's a hard fucking bird right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He was wild.
Sounds like a prison bird.
Right?
Yeah, basically.
I can just imagine he's got like little barbells and everything. Hey, what you looking at?
I mean, he's a survivor, so.
It is a crow, that's like a street bird.
Mm-hmm.
Let us resume. Everyone good?
I am.
Yeah, my webcam's acting up.
You look great to me. You were missing for a second, but now we're back to normalcy. Resuming, wherein you hear a booming voice. It says, "Leaving!" And before the next syllable comes out, there is nothing here. In the blink of an eye, suddenly there's nothing.
Holy shit.
There's nothing. The air is very still, and you're left wondering, in 5 days, what exactly did we just agree to? There's a mining pick in your hand, Taldred, and it feels heavier than you imagined.
You're right. Todder puts it down. Whew. Too heavy.
I think they can find us in 5 days.
I would
Did
assume
any of
so.
you happen to spot whoever it is that controls the ship?
I would assume it's the commander.
The guy yelling at me?
I would assume so as well, but I didn't manage to spot any signs of it.
Wasn't exactly on the top of my mind.
I was
Sure.
looking and I did not see it.
Get on top of a ship 80 feet in the air. Unless you can sprout wings as well as those scales.
I'm sure I can work on it.
I think the most pressing question, other than what will we do in 5 days when we don't have the mithril, is who is the employer and what have we gotten ourselves into?
Let's cross that bridge when we get there. We can be an Arabelle when we talk about this.
I think by this time, Nothing Gold has sort of rounded up the miners and is helping them come out of the cave, rejoining with the rest of the group.
Yoris, you were going to say?
Yes, so as Ada said something about the employer, if anybody notices yours, his eyes are kind of shut and you hear him slightly mumbling something. And 22 history roll.
What are you attempting to infer about this situation or about the Githyanki?
So I would like to know more information on the Githyanki and their dealings on how things work. So,
And with
there
a
way we could have negotiated, or did we basically bone ourselves? More or less, I just need more information.
You have a sense that the Githyanki, ever rigorous, ever contractual, ever lawful, certainly will come for their due. You get the impression that, yes, you probably did just agree to something that is binding. And certainly when this debt is paid, there will be something will come to a head here. You do, in fact, feel a sense of impending obligation here. Could you have done it differently? Perhaps you have a sense that you perhaps avoided a direct confrontation today, Euros, but perhaps you only bought yourself time.
We're gonna have to mine them some mithril.
Not a goddamn chance.
I don't think you understand what you just put us in.
I know exactly where we put it in. The world is ending. If we're in Zental Keep in 5 days from now, and their massive boat appeared, what are they going to do about it?
Brenner, roll perception.
Is this behind me?
It's not. It is within you.
Seven.
When you say the words Zental Keep, you think, did I just infer that the other side of this transaction was the Zent? And you're not sure how that would connect, but you have conjectured something. The conjecture lingers there in the air.
The sooner we get to Arabel, the sooner we can start formulating a plan about that eventuality. Assuming we can even get back there before the Zent arrive, which should probably take precedent right now.
Yeah, I think as Taldred says that Nothing Gold will tilt her head back to find the sun, try to gauge exactly how late in the afternoon it's become.
The sun is no longer high in the sky. You can see that it is starting to move westward.
Agreed. Double time. Who's on whose horses? He's gesturing towards the miners at this point.
You gesture toward the miners as if recoiling. Garrett goes and coughs, a wet, productive cough.
We were going to empty this wagon and carry them that way, yes?
You're right. This was my idea. Brenner will make his way over to the wagon. Does it look like it is at least in reasonable repair?
You think that were you to spend some time getting all of the coal out of here, you could probably use this thing to pull some people. It wouldn't be very fast, and it wouldn't be something you'd want to deal with in combat, but yeah, it'll move.
Is it a two-wheel wagon or is it four-wheel?
It's got two wheels in the back, and it's designed to get pulled by a team of horses.
So you could hypothetically tip it over to pour the coal out, is what I'm asking.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
But they need help with it. So he's openly just gesticulating towards the part. Does not assume that he can tip over the whole thing by himself.
You, looking at it, you know you definitely can't tip it over by yourself. It would either require some type of lever, some type of mechanical advantage, or a bunch of very strong people. Or a level of patience where you could take pieces of coal out one at a time until the thing is empty.
Are we sure we need to do that?
Taldred, you're sure, as you say this aloud, that you are not. You infer that you could obviously have a miner on the horse with you. If you're okay with having someone with a wet and nasty cough coughing directly on you for the 6+ hour ride back to Arabel.
Well, the person with the cough could ride in front, could they not? Is that not often done?
This member of Faerun has little understanding of the customs for having coughing people on a horse, but you feel that being in close proximity to someone so diseased may be deleterious to your health.
Well, Taldred in particular isn't worried about that.
Just wrap a cloth around his mouth.
There are certainly ways to mitigate the risk, you infer.
Well, I mean, Taldred can cure, because I assume with my disease cure on, God, it wasn't Ray, it was the other one.
It was Garrett.
Garrett, correct? Yes, he cured Garrett's cough. Well, I hope he cured his cough.
I don't mean to rush us along, but we did agree that the original plan was just to put them on the horses and go.
We do have 3 strong riders here, do we not?
We do.
I'm sure you guys can handle it. However, it's not necessarily my expertise, so I will defer to whoever wants to take charge here.
I think that speed will be a priority, as it'll take us 6 hours back, assuming we have daylight the entire time, even longer if night falls.
Well, is the road even level enough for us to drag a cart down the mountain?
Thinking back to your journey up here, Yoros, it's not very level. At least most of the journey would be downhill. But yes, whoever is involved in the horses that will be pulling this cart is definitely going to have a rough ride.
Taldred looks to Brenner and he says, "Brenner, call it.
On horses, tie them down.
Let's go."
Provide with me a manifest here. Who has who?
I believe that from our previous experiences, Taldred, Ada, and Nothing Gold were the weakest riders, so they should probably go with,
Even by helping these fine folks along on horses this entire time, I think Brenner would come to the same conclusion.
It is thus that we are having Yoros, Gastmir, and Brenner be the 3 that are helping miners. Are you assigning them arbitrarily? Any?
Take your pick.
I'll take Ray. You can take Garrett. Gasmir can take Lazy.
Works for me.
You do so. In order to determine how long it will take you to load up the miners, one person of the 3 of you will have to roll an animal handling check. I watched Brenner's hand shoot up instantaneously. Let's see it.
25 on a natural crit. They're on them horses.
A 20 on die. Yes, you do so.
He just throws them on there like a javelin.
Exactly. Yes, you operate with the alacrity of someone driven by purpose. A way that you've carried yourself countless times, Brenner. You hoist each of them up on the horses in a single motion. And it is such that they are loaded nearly instantly with your 20 on die for a 25. You load all 3 of them quite confidently. What about for the 3 of you that are doing so by yourselves? Could you find one of the 3 of you who wants to roll animal handling?
Not it.
Nothing Gold seems quite comfortable around horses despite not having the height advantage to be able to mount one by herself.
Nothing Gold. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to elaborate. I have a +3 to animal handling if you'd rather resolve it that way.
Let's touch on the first point. You do feel comfortable around these creatures. Having spent a couple days with them now, you've come to appreciate the efficiency and reliability of horses. No wonder humans went to such lengths to domesticate them. Nothing Gold, are you going to assist these 3? These 3, there is a sense amongst the less the less adept riders, that you sense that all three of them effectively seem to be saying not it at the same time here. It is such
Yeah,
that
I think remembering Gasmir's little reptilian episode, she's like, let me handle this, actually.
you have a sense that, indeed, Gastmir's sudden metamorphoses could, in fact, be alienating and confusing to an animal that hasn't seen something like that.
It's a 19.
A 19. You are able to help all three of them get mounted quite quickly. This overall operation, wherein the party helps the three miners on the horses and then helps the three riders on their horses, this all happens very quickly. You accomplish this as a well-oiled team. You find yourselves mounted on these horses. Are you egressing? I won't construct the tokens on this platform if you're immediately egressing. Are you riding down the road? It sounds like that's your plan.
Indeed it is.
Yes.
I got you. Look at that. Ready buttons. Let's go. You find yourself somewhere familiar. It's still light out, and you make good time. You pass by this little way station. Do you proceed? Do you investigate? Do you stop? Anything like that that I should be aware of?
How long did it take for us to get here?
You, Ada, have no way of judging time, but you watch as the sun continues to get lower in the sky. It's not dusk yet, Ada.
So the sun's still up. Okay. Am I feeling hungry?
You are feeling more than hungry. You're feeling battered and brutalized. You lost an eye today. You are somewhat apoplectic when thinking about your future. So yes, you are hungry, but yes, you have more problems than that. Ada, go ahead.
I don't want to stop at this goddamn hole. Let's just
Agreed.
get home.
Some radishes if you're hungry.
I'm not a rabbit.
Yeah, food at the temple.
Ada, you transgress. Don't let me interrupt. Go ahead.
Is there any update to the mural as they pass by it? They circle around and...
Perhaps your musings on it have matured, but no, the mural itself looks exactly the same.
Does it seem like the horses want to drink?
You, Gastmir, you have the horse's well-being at the forefront of your mind. You could let them water here for just a moment. Even just a bit of a drink from those troughs would certainly help the journey, you think.
Do that because nobody wants these horses collapsing underneath us.
I think
Agreed.
For the couple minutes, sure.
Yeah, any voices coming from inside?
You don't hear anything, but you see a small tendril of black smoke coming from the chimney. Someone's home. Let me know whenever you've concluded your couple minutes and are ready to proceed, if that is in fact what you do.
I'm gonna look at Ada and I'm gonna eat one of my radishes. Delicious, you know? It's good for you.
You have something to say to me.
Just simply want you to eat your vegetables.
Why? Does it improve the eyesight?
I'm sorry, Gasmir. What was that?
I think you heard me.
Are you
Too
looking
early
for
for
a fight,
jokes,
or
I
are you
know.
just making a joke at my expense?
I think they are similar to carrots, so I can believe it.
Oh
At
my
least I'm not
god.
gouging your eyes out.
Is that what you intend to do?
No,
People,
I'm rather
people.
aiming for the opposite.
We're halfway home. Save it.
Agreed.
I'll pull out a radish and I'll just hold it out to anybody that wants to take it.
Ada, you dug up frozen potatoes earlier. If you want me to heat them, I can.
I am glaring at the two miscreants in my party, so I don't hear you.
Well, better be getting on that trail then.
Agreed. Double time.
Yes.
By
I think
morning.
we should move.
You move, bringing the miners along with you, riding down this winding path south toward Arabel. Is that right?
Correct.
One moment. You find yourself somewhere familiar, but with someone new. You pass through this path on the way up. It's a bit darker now, still not dusk. The sun is getting lower in the sky, and you get a glimpse of a beautiful sunset. The rays of light cut through the trees here and reflect off of the babbling waters of the creek. Up on the butte that you studied on the way in, you see something. Two people not attempting in any way to hide themselves. Elves. They look young. Each of them has a longbow. They study you, and each of them gives you a small salute with their fingers as you pass.
Ritter will hold his hand up to hail, nodding.
They give you a deep nod.
Well, there's your sniper.
Looks like they're ready to retire for the evening.
So am I.
Gasmir calls out in Elvish. Is there any trouble on the road ahead?
The nearmost elf calls out to you in Elvish. Not unless you were planning on making some.
We are not.
Dare we
Thank you.
ask, what is your business?
We're returning some wounded to Arabel.
Good fortune upon you then.
Good fortune upon you as well. She notes to the others that apparently there shouldn't be any trouble ahead. Or at least that's what they say.
Oh, good.
There is a fork here. As you know, when you are coming north along this road, you can ride south along the river, should you wish to take a shortcut. The road, on the other hand, heads east here before it breaks south.
I believe staying on the road is the best of options.
For sure.
NG votes shortcut.
We have wounded, and we know the road.
Best stick to what we know.
She is thus outnumbered.
Trying to save time can just make it worse.
If she manages to convince Ada.
I am not interested in which route we take.
You observe something, though, Ada. In the same way that everyone seemed to gang up on you, you watch as quickly people circle the wagons to shut out Nothing Gold. It sounds as if... Well, you guys tell me.
If there's no...
Go on.
Sorry, she was just going to be argumentative. You go.
Gasmir will wonder how long will the road take?
You recall. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are we risking getting caught in here in the dark? Because that might make the shortcut worth it.
Of course we are. That points up to the sky. The problem is, if we get caught in the dark where we don't know we are, we don't have a road to follow. We can follow the river, sure, but again, we know the road. We have wounded.
We do have wounded.
Well, on the other hand, don't you think the people that you just spoke to know the conditions of the road as well, and they would have warned us?
Agreed, they said it was fine.
I'm not sure why we're discussing unnecessary risks.
Unnecessary risks?
Do you think them necessary?
I think that you're going to disagree with me no matter what I say.
In this particular instance, yeah. He points to the three on the horse. These are under our war. Our job was to transport them back to Arabel safely. We know, at least according to these nice elves, the
Yeah,
roads are safe.
did you get this far only following what you know?
We were tasked with getting wounded, well, the miners back safely. They are wounded. There is no need for risk.
What is the risk?
We don't
don't-
know the path.
If you wish to meet us in Arabel, you're more than welcome to break path.
Please don't.
No, we should all travel together.
No, I don't wish to leave.
This is not that important.
Agreed?
I trust the people who are good on horses.
Let's stay on the road and make haste then.
We always have plenty of ways to make a light source as well, and we would only need it for a brief amount of time.
With that, I will illuminate a floating ball in front of me.
No, don't.
I've
We
already done it.
remember.
You cast a spell, glowing with power, summoning something within yourself. You summon a glowing orb just in front of you. Is this correct?
I did.
A ball of light. You've done so. Your light casts irregular shadows. It's very peculiar to see something like this. A source of light down here inside the forest almost, casting strange rays through the lights. The elves seem to notice. Of course they do. The light illuminates your way, Ada.
Ada, it's a lighthouse that will draw attention to us.
Then let's keep moving. I just want a fucking bath. Oh my god.
I had to shovel this Talon's hair at this point.
It's awful.
You could tidy up if you put on that headband.
Oh, and this conversation's more important than the roads. Let's just go.
His hair needs to be immaculate.
Shut up, Yoros.
It's not immaculate.
I will pull the
Just
reins.
like scraping at it.
I'll pull the reins on my horse, trying to get it to do something meaningful, but probably fail.
You squeeze the reins on your horse. You've seen other people do this. The horse seems perplexed, but continues moving with the group. Is the party moving on? It sounds like you are. It sounds like time has finally caught up to you. You continue traveling south through Solwood County, Solwood County, Cormyr. You find yourselves somewhere familiar. You arrive somewhere new. The sun is getting low in the sky. It's just about to set. It'll be dark momentarily as you pass along this bridge heading south. Any thoughts? Perhaps you'd care to resume your argument now that darkness is starting to set in and give you a sense of isolation here outside civilization.
I see
What
any
are the
deer.
deers doing?
Yeah, how's that deer doing?
Gastmere, you do. You see a single solitary doe sitting there drinking the water of the stream.
And it still has like a normal number of eyes. Which is about, in Dia's case, is about 5.
Yes.
Right?
You'll have
Right.
to define normal for me and the prime material plane, Gasmir. What's a normal number of eyes? What's a normal number of arms?
Normal number of eyes is anywhere between 0 and 5.
Yes, this deer meets those requirements.
Excellent.
Its little white tail flits as you stare at it.
Is it tracking our movements as we pass by it?
It's hard to say, isn't it, Nothing Gold? Any
Mage hand the water and splash it.
You do so. You gather your power. You cast a spell. To your delight, you're able to do this. You use Mage Hand to splash water onto the face of this innocent wildlife. Euros, what was your motivation here? What was your intention?
I just had an odd feeling in the back of my head that thought it'd be funny.
The doe wanders off, looking miffed. Any further actions here or party correspondence?
Is Gastmere still looking strange?
I know she looks normal outside of her rage.
Okay, then yes, ready.
Brenner, did you have a thought?
No.
Ada, yours?
Just want to get home.
Heading south on the road? With the miners in tow, you continue heading south. And you arrive at the northeast gate. You find yourselves here in Arabel Cormier. The sun has just set. It's nighttime now. You're not sure exactly when that is. You could conjecture it's probably 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Fires burn on the wall, casting faint illumination across the scene here. You were able to see them from far away, giving you a sense of security as you got closer to the city. Now that you're here at the gate, you can see you're back here within the realm of civilization.
Where's Paul?
On a horse. They don't have individual tokens here. Do you take the miners? I infer that you will take the miners back to the Temple of the Radiant Heart.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
You do so. Does everyone, I'm inferring a few things. Do you dismount? Do you take your horses back to the horse lord? Do you arrive here at the city? Now you're back on foot. Is all of this correct?
Yeah.
I would assume we would stay in the city on horseback to take the miners all the way to the temple.
You do. We will, give me 1 second. And Euros, I like that. Give me one moment.
One of us can or some of us can return the horses while you attend to the miners.
Or somebody can grab one of the NPCs and be like, you are the person who's going to give these horses back to the person.
You accomplish these tasks. You are here now in the East Rose Market, just south of the Northeast Gate where you just were. The Temple of the Radiant Heart is on your northwest corner here. You find yourself somewhere familiar. You have returned your horses although you sense that perhaps you could get them back again should you need them for the service of the Temple of the Radiant Heart. It is growing late, but this city is rather alive. One of the advantages of being in civilization is you're able to get something like food late at night. You're able to find people on the street. There may even be revelers, perhaps even an inn. Or you are aware that you have housing at the Temple of the Radiant Heart.
I would like to head straight to the Temple of the Radiant Heart and dispose of these miners before one of them dies, perhaps.
His primary goal as well.
Why don't we take you inside the temple? Who is in charge of this? It sounds like, did the party want to split up? Did you want to have some people taking the miners to the infirmary at the temple, and then some people...
Taldred would definitely go with the miners to the temple, or the infirmary.
If you're going that direction, why don't you move yourself to the stairs of the temple here so that I know your intention? And if you have... Go ahead.
I was going to say, Gasmir probably has to like support one of the miners because I imagine they're not very keen or capable of walking by themselves, so...
That's exactly right. Yes, they are nearly mute. They are malnourished. They can do little except periodically complain and kvetch about the conditions. And they are very appreciative when they finally realize where you've taken them. So I have Nothing Gold, Ada, and Euros persisting here on East Rose Boulevard while Taldred, Brenner, and Gastmere return the miners. Is that correct?
I have a miner on my horse, so I need to return it first.
Perfect.
And I think Nothing Gold would ask Ada if she did not need to go to the infirmary herself.
I don't think this can be healed. I think I'm going to die like this.
They could do something for the pain, perhaps.
Perhaps take her to a glass blower.
Was that out loud, Euros?
Just a mumble under my breath.
Okay. I'll shrug and go with them.
Are you not in pain?
Of course I'm in pain.
Well, let's do something about that.
Nothing Gold, you were the last one to exit this small passageway on East Rose Boulevard. Someone called to you as that happened. As you were exiting through here, someone that you saw earlier, this grim merchant who was setting up their wares on the eastern side of the market, they call out to you.
Yeah, she'll go see what that's about.
He doesn't even have to give his spiel, does he? You are immediately interested. He makes eye contact and beckons you over. You don't feel as if you across the table. Don't feel as if you have to be beckoned, but you are beckoned. It's if you feel the beckoning of this, feel free to run with it.
Yeah, I think before she runs off, she will tell the group, "I am going to be in the market. There was a commotion here earlier, and I want to make sure that it was resolved. Call me if you need anything."
I too like to investigate things 2 days later.
Gasmir silently, to herself, suspects that Nothing Gold just wants to cause a commotion, but she's not going to say that out loud.
Just ensure you get some rest. The morning should be dangerous.
I'll come back to the temple, yes.
Why don't we first? We're going to return the miners as a group. We're going to do things in a certain order here. The Radiant Heart Paladin that is standing on the corner here obligingly suggests that you should enter inside. You sense that you are welcome here. You find yourself somewhere familiar.
Brenner would approach the closest paladin.
The closest paladin is New Paul Arthrade.
I don't know his name. Or at least Brenner doesn't.
Sounds good.
Where's your infirmary?
He gives you a small bow and says, it's down the stairs. You can, seeing the miners, Paul quickly rushes to grasp and help you carry them down the stairs to the infirmary. One at a time, him and the acolyte at the top of the stairs help you herd the miners down the stairs and take them to safety where they can be evaluated.
Yasna will very happily, like, shove the miner that she had over towards this person. Knock yourself out.
Talton, you're approached by someone.
Oh.
There is a guard. You have not interacted with her before. She has light blonde hair, a bastard sword on her hip, and is wearing full plate armor. She looks incredibly intense and stares you down the second you walk up the stairs. She looks ready to confront you about something.
Okay.
Do you take any reactions as she walks over?
Nope. Talger's just waiting.
She shoves your shoulder. Zone of truth, huh?
Yeah.
You don't believe the things that we're doing here? You have to walk in and cast Zone of Truth, is that right?
Now, time out.
She shoves your shoulder again.
Talger says, ma'am, there were others in the room that were not with the Radiant Heart. That's who the Zone of Truth was for. I'm sure you understand.
I don't understand, actually.
Oh, really?
You can trust the people here within our walls. The ones that you should worry about not trusting are your companions.
That's what I just said.
I'll stride up to this woman in plate.
She looks beside herself with annoyance and anger.
I'll get right in her face, and I'll point right at my dead, whitened eye. I lost this eye for your stupid fucking miners. We did you a favor, and you dare to distrust us.
Oh, good. Ada's here.
A hand goes to her bastard sword.
Yeah, pull it.
She sizes you up. She does so. She unsheathes her sword and holds it out.
You hid in this castle.
You wanted
while we
something.
did the dirty work. That's what happened. Remember that.
She glowers at you.
Come on now, ladies. We're all on the same side here.
Yeah, is that so?
Yeah, that's so.
Prove it. How do I know you're... Go ahead.
We just did. Ma'am, we just risked life to bring these miners back.
Yeah, how many miners? 4. I counted them as you brought them in. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th?
She turned. She works for the...
Turned?
Correct. She was working for the enemy.
Working for the... These are miners. These are not political pawns. These are not particularly sophisticated people. They turned... What is it? A fucking zombie.
Put your sword away.
Brenner is exceptionally heated, storming towards this as well.
I will not. You don't get to tell me where to put my fucking sword here. You asked me to take it out. It's out. Now you want me to put it away? You come in my house and tell me what I can and can't do.
I'm going to grab my spellbook.
God damn it! That wasn't in character, just for the record. But, all right.
Yasna is just watching. Like, she turns around, she sees this, and she's just like thinking to herself, Ada probably needs to yell at somebody, and this seems like the perfect candidate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yoros is just going to gather up the horses and just kind of...
In that vein, Talger has also disengaged from this and is moving towards where they're bringing the miners.
Brenner is interceding in between these as quickly as possible.
You do so, Brenner. You intercede between Samantha and Ada.
I know many of your kind. You call this your house. Yours.
That's exactly right.
This is not Helm's house.
That would be one and the same for someone like me.
Brenner casts his gauntlet off in the middle of the room.
You do so. It makes a metallic clang as it lands on the marble. You sense that you're attracting a bit of attention here.
He's attempting to.
Yoros just mumbles better than me and just continues to take the horses.
We visit Nothing Gold outside at the East Rose Market. You find yourself shopping on Arabellan Black Friday.
Yes. So this crowd.
Yes, there are crowds of people. You notice the thriving marketplace here, despite things like chaos outside the city, despite the general posture of the world as it teeters toward annihilation. There's plenty of people here buying things and celebrating throughout the night. You pass somebody eating some type of meat on a skewer. You hear two people clink small glasses together. You see people browsing a number of finished goods. There are people looking at blown glass here in the center of the market. You still see someone beckoning you over. It's the Grim Merchant from earlier. He's flanked by two pieces of animated armor. He's calling you over.
Before she turns to him, I don't know if it's possible to insight check an entire crowd, but I think it would strike Nothing Gold that nobody seems worried about this supposed attack that's happening tomorrow. It's not as if people are going to be searching for safe places to huddle up.
Roll insight, Nothing Gold. You attempt to gather information on the overall tone of the crowd and what could be going through people's mind as they celebrate.
What are they celebrating? It's a dirty 20.
With your dirty 20, you infer that perhaps this attack is not something that's been publicized. Perhaps John Smithfield has entrusted you with it, and it's not something that has been shared with the general populace. And you think that even if, from your experiences with humans, relatively short-sighted, relatively unable to see the larger picture, humans have a particular way of ignoring exigent threats. Even if you told them what was happening, as you look up at these people who are on average over a foot taller than you, what would they even do with the information? Probably nothing.
I think Nothing Gold is very familiar with this concept of partying as if the world's about to end. So with that, she will go and sort of like deer skip over to this grim-faced merchant.
You skip like a deer. We will revisit you momentarily. Back in the Temple of the Radiant Heart, we have a bit of a tense situation. Brenner, you are interceding between Ada Worthware and Samantha Ruthenberg, who look like they're about to throw down. Your gauntlet lies on the floor. Which one of your hands is now bare? Left or right?
Right one. His sword hand.
Your sword hand is ready to go. Go ahead.
I was housed in the helm. I was housed under Torn himself, and this is what it got me. As he holds up his hand, it is normal human on the backside, but charred black on the palm.
You show this scarred, withered hand of yours to this paladin. She has a very natural reaction. Disgust. Ugh.
And that's what your gods can do. You take their blade to something they don't want. There it is.
She seems mollified, if only out of disgust.
You trust John, though, yes?
Of course I do.
A prophet of your god, in your house. And what was his prophecy? This lady right here. In that dream. Yes? Saving the world? What of you?
She slams her bastard sword back in the hilt. She leers closer to you. Well, make sure you fucking save it then.
I intend to.
And turns to walk away if you don't stop her.
he's more than willing to let her go.
I will put my hand on Brenner's shoulder. We all bear scars today, but we bear them together.
River is flush red in the palm. Sorry, not in the palm, but in his fist. The only skin that is showing. He says nothing, but not. After standing there tense for as long, it seems unreasonable even. He collects the gauntlet and puts it back on his hand.
You do so, hiding your withered hand from the world. Checking back on East Rose Boulevard with nothing gold. Nothing gold. You find a merchant. He looks rather aged, perhaps on the far side of his 70s. He has a weary expression, but he lights up as he eyes you up and down. Ah, efficiency. Ah, here to buy, here to sell. You must have something interesting.
I was curious about these constructs of yours. She says, gesturing to the armor.
That is exactly right. The Black Network is primarily concerned with security. I think you'll find my wares inaccessible to things like theft. He laughs.
How do you make something impossible to steal?
You realize as he gestures, it would be rather difficult to steal from these 12-foot tall suits of armor that watch over him. Each of them has a great sword. You sense that security is quite good. He offers you and says, care to see what I've got? And I'll buy anything you've got.
Yes, I'd love to see what you have. What's your name? I'm new in town.
I don't need to give you my name. This is a practical business.
Are you here long, or are you just passing through?
I don't need to provide you that information either. There is one thing I will discuss. Buying and selling.
All right,
And-
show me the numbers.
He shows you the numbers. Merchants here in Arabel will generally buy and sell adventuring gear. If you have things you would like to get rid of, we can negotiate that. Otherwise, there are stated prices. Going back inside, in the Temple of the Radiant Heart, it seems you have de-escalated things for now.
You feel any better, Miss Worthware?
Better. No, I'm still feeling pain. I guess I feel a
Oh.
little bit better.
Pain can be fixed with some of their concoctions, I'm sure.
Agreed.
This
Hopefully the mendicants are a little bit more approachable. Brenner starts to make his way back towards the staircase. It is the southeast staircase that leads down, right?
The southeast staircase leads down to the infirmary, a place that you will never have a need to go. On the other hand, during your initial orientation, your onboarding, you know that to the north stairs at the top of the temple leads upwards to your safe house, your private quarters. This, where you are right now, or where to your southeast is a door leading down to the infirmary.
I'll draw up face to face to Nothing Gold to listen to what she has to say to me. Gasmir. Gasmir,
Yes.
do you enjoy riling me up?
Sometimes. But you rather seemed like you needed to yell at somebody.
Yeah, it should have been you, I think.
Perhaps. But this works as well, does it not?
Yeah, I just lost an eye. I'm really not in the mood for jokes at my expense.
I understand.
Thank you.
Let's get you some of that pain relief.
I think that would be good for both of us.
Castamere offers her arm,
I'll take it.
and we shall prance downstairs.
You have a sense of companionship. Is anyone else taking actions here inside the temple?
Tolcher's just following down to the infirmary.
I'm gonna head to the market with the horses.
Let us. In that order. Okay, Taldred, you're going to the infirmary. The infirmary is across the table. Abstract. So,
You did mine.
yes. The infirmary is abstract. There is no reason for you to go there and spend time there other than as a brief place to understand medicine takes place here. Euros. You have 6 horses in tow. Do you leave them here? These are not your horses. Are you leaving them here at the Temple of the Radiant Heart and then going to the market? Did I infer that correctly?
Well, I had the horses with me because I was gonna take them back to Paul. Because that's where we got them.
That's right. Okay, we will, just so I'm not creating 6 horse tokens and dragging them from map to map, you are taking these horses back to the horse fort. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Since we decided to ride to the temple instead of stopping at the gates with the horses, I'm going to infer that we should probably take them back to Paul. So I will take that duty upon myself.
You do so. You do your duty. Something other people seem to have very little interest in doing. You do what you are asked to do. Euros, you feel a sense of fulfilling obligations and wonder why your companions are so unable to do the same. You have dropped off the horses. Where would you like to go next? Are you heading back here to the temple? Or where? Okay,
I
go
will
ahead.
get distracted by the hustle and bustle of the market. I have no interest of what's going on in the temple at the moment, so I will let myself wander.
Let us find you here on East Rose Boulevard, here outside the markets. It's a nice night, Euros. It's dark, but there are torches here that keep the markets pleasantly illuminated. You see nothing gold, coordinating with some type of strange-looking merchant being flanked by massive suits of armor.
If the merchant would let her physically handle the merchandise, I think she would have the. It looks like a long sword, and it's slightly unsheathed, and she's looking at the blade, and he's probably talking to her about its ability to manifest itself very suddenly into its target.
What is your, perhaps I missed, well, what is your intent here? Are you trying to...
This is just flavor for what Yoros is seeing, but she's looking over the Heart Reaver.
I see. Okay. You hold the sword in your hand. Both suits of armor watch you carefully as you handle the merchandise, but you get the impression that this is exotic stuff from faraway lands. Euros, you see nothing gold, handling a grim-looking sword.
Yes. It will catch my interest, and I will walk up behind her while she's looking at the sword.
The grim
Are you trying to be stealthy?
No, not at all. The fine-looking sword. I don't know why I said it like this.
She'll look over at Yoros and say, "Do you use one?"
I do. I have known to use many in my day.
Are you particularly attached to yours?
You could say yes. But I'm always looking for another. In case, if you're looking at my character, you can't see a sword on him.
Yeah, she definitely infers something from this exchange. She's looking him very visibly up and down and raising an eyebrow. And then she says, I'm curious what your opinion on this would be. Here, handle it. And she hands the the heart reaver over to him.
Both suits of armor track your every move.
And then she says, sort of leaning in as the exchange is happening, and this is a very natural thing for her. She's facing away. Obviously, they're watching her exchange it, but she is talking to Yoros as she does this exchange, and she says, "This man says he's impossible to steal from."
He hears you say this and nods.
Interesting.
You can try, should you wish to be halved.
I will not. It's just
I
interesting.
hadn't planned on it, my good sir.
To see something from the black market, the black network posted here. So.
Why? Strange. Try profitable.
Where did you get these?
Well, what happens is people like you or people like these, and he gestures with a sweeping arm toward the city of Arabel, you continue sending interlopers into our lands. We can relieve them of their magical items and then sell them back to you so that you may try again. This entire operation is immensely profitable for us.
When he says these lands, is there an accent or something she could pick up on?
Roll insight.
$14.
How far east have you been, Nothing Gold?
She has not crossed an ocean.
This accent is from somewhere east of the Dragon Reach.
How much for one of these armors?
The animated armors, my
Yes.
bodyguards,
Yes.
they are not for sale.
Do you know where to get more?
Of course I do.
Do you know where to get explosives?
Of course I do.
All right. Consider me interested in combustion.
That is a very interesting thing for you to say, but I will keep that in mind. Why don't we revisit that next time you're here? I would be happy to bring some explosives here for you to review. He makes a mental note. You can see him internalizing something. Back inside the Temple of the Radiant Heart. You all exit from the infirmary, having deposited the miners in medical cots there. You find yourselves here in this well-lit, resplendent temple. It is dark outside, but here inside the temple, torches keep it very well lit. It's pleasantly warm in here. You wonder if Walt Forbes would like an update on what you have just done.
Did we manage to get some opioids for Ada? The good shit.
Certainly, mundane painkillers, should Ada desire them, are here in ample quantities.
I desire them.
You have your senses of pain a bit dulled, but all of your other senses are dulled as well. An addicting feeling.
Can you explain a little more about how it affects my inhibitions or self-control?
I would love to. It affects you in the following ways. As you're walking back up the stairs, you feel a little bit lightheaded. You just lose a little bit of blood as you're walking up. Everything feels fine, but you see a few stars and you just feel a little bit floaty as you reach the top of the stairs. You stumble a bit, but don't trip.
Would you say it's a little euphoric?
It's very euphoric. If nothing else,
Very euphoric.
the loss of pain instantly gives you a sense of relief. But you just feel wonderful, floating a little bit. Nothing seems to bother you quite as much ever since imbibing this opioid salve.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gasmir. I knew you were joking. I just couldn't take it at the time. It was quite funny.
I know it was. You
Gas-
seem to be in a much better mood now.
Imagine that.
Gasmir, Ada doesn't seem quite like herself. Seems kind
Yes.
of stupefied.
Yeah, Gasmir's insight isn't the best, but I think she can, in this case, she can probably, like, figure out how these painkillers and this newfound Ada connect.
I'm as high as a Georgia pine.
Yep, exactly. Well, Gasmir silently thinks to herself that this is probably going to prevent her from picking a fight with the rest of the paladins, at least. Which could be boring, but, you know.
So when they get the miners to the infirmary, Taldred would be sure to, talk to the medical staff that they have, explain that at least 2 of them have jail fever, and anything else he might have noticed.
You share your clinical notes. You have had ample time to take many observations, and you are able to add a lot of value here by summarizing almost a full day's worth of observational medicine regarding these people that were in your care. You have a sense that you are taking good care of your patients here, Taldred. You feel that you are quite the healer. You've done quite well. If anyone else was taking charge of this, they probably would have just dumped them on the stairs. You're doing great, Taldred. Whoever could question that? You have a sense of pride within yourself. You hope it's well deserved.
Always is.
You see Ada and Gasmir speaking somewhat quietly.
That's actually a relief because they're speaking quietly.
It is. Last you saw, there was a lot more tension in the room.
I think Taldred would seek out Walter Forbes at this point.
Why don't you do so?
I think Gasmir will probably herd Ada along as well if we head it that way.
I imagine I will be babbling.
Is that so? The room he's in now, is that the room we met him in before?
That is exactly right. This is the
Okay,
this
'cause I
is
was
the
about to
prep
say,
room.
I would head for that room. I didn't know if it was that specific room or not.
This is the same room that he gave you the briefing in before that we did in Across the Table, Session 0. He looks pleased seeing you enter. Taldred Tolton!
Mr. Forbes, hey there. Listen, you look kind of well dressed, honestly. Clean, even. Where can I get a bath?
Upstairs in your quarters. We have a safe house set aside just for you should you choose to take care of yourself. I wish you would.
Taldred is already walking out of the door before he's done talking.
Go ahead.
Gasmir's
shit,
left
I
standing
closed
in the
roll 20.
doorway with Ada probably at this point, and where's Brenna?
He was following in suit.
Okay.
Brenner, you watch as Taldred sticks his head in to the prep room and leaves pretty much instantaneously.
Does he overhear that there is bats ahead?
I don't think so. You were outside the door. I really think Taldred did this pretty much instantly. Taldred, when you try to go up those stairs, there's someone at the bottom and he blocks your way.
Who is this?
This guy
Do I
looks
recognize this
familiar.
guy?
You
Isn't
do.
he? Yeah.
Yes.
It is him. Okay.
It is. As you try to edge past him, you think, I know this fucking guy. And he stands in your way. If you try to move past, he puts his shoulder in front of yours. He puts his hand on your shoulder. Ah, Taldred Talton.
Roger, if you touch me, I will break your fucking neck.
Look. This doesn't have to be like that. Look, Mr.
I
Mr.
agree.
Talton.
All you have to do is take your hand off of me.
Oh, I don't think that I will. Mr. Talton, look, whatever they're paying you, we'll pay you double. Just
Who is we?
Just something to think about, okay?
Who's we?
Me. Well, really, me. It's Taldred. They've got 2 portal keys. Don't go with those people. Come with us. There's only going to be one successful incursion into Zental Keep. Me,
smiles, and
me
he
and
goes,
my crew.
"You are absolutely right about that." And he knees him right in the groin.
You do so. Roll to attack.
Ah,
would be
fuck.
proud.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Explain what I'm rolling here.
You are rolling a roll a d20 and add your proficiency bonus.
Dirty 20.
You knee an iron leg plate. It doesn't really hurt your knee, which is also armored. Roger chuffs. He goes, guess I'll try you again another time.
I wouldn't.
Hey, Taldred. Best of luck, buddy. Have fun.
Never had it, don't need it.
Have fun with what you're doing. He patronizingly gives you a tap on the shoulder.
I check my pockets immediately.
Roll insight.
$23.
That fucker definitely just tried to go for something. Doesn't seem like he was successful, but you get the impression that that pat on the back was a bit more than just patronizing you.
But nothing's missing.
Nothing's missing.
Oh. Taldred. Oh, he gets so fucking hot in the face. But a bath would be pretty cool. So let's go cool down.
Across the table, when you go into the safe house here, the session ends. So should you choose to go up the stairs, take a bath, we will conclude it there, and you will be staying in the safe house, it sounds like.
Okay, well, Taldred is on the stairs ready to go up there, but if other people want to, like, I'm done. I'm done for sure.
Understood. What about, let's briefly go outside to the East Rose Market. Nothing gold and euros. Have you plumbed the depths of your commercial souls? Have you transacted all the transactions you're looking for?
Do we even have any money?
Yeah, I think nothing gold is looking expectantly at euros. Like,
the grim merchant instinctively understands what you two are saying and says, put the sword down then. If you can't afford it, don't touch it.
well, we can't afford it at this very moment, but we are interested in it.
Then get your gold and come back.
Do you deal in art?
The right kind. If it is valuable art, nothing you drew yourself. He chuckles to himself.
Of course.
Damn.
She will rummage around in her pack and pull out a canvas that she unfurls just a little bit.
Roll perception.
$21.
You sense, having transacted quite a few art transactions in your day, Nothing Gold, nothing's worse than trying to sell the right thing to the wrong person. Something that you know about Arabel is it has a number of eccentric collectors. In fact, it's rumored that one of them has a shop here in Northeast Arabel.
But there's no like dawning recognition on the merchant's
There is no
face.
dawning recognition. One eyebrow shoots up. You get the impression that if what you're offering isn't designed for killing or avoiding killing, the true value may be lost.
Actually, I've forgotten that I already have somebody interested in this piece, but we will be back later.
He furrows his brow. Fine then.
Did Yoros want to do anything while we're still at the merchant? Otherwise, she's gonna do a loop through the market.
How interesting do I find this sword?
You tell me.
From a physical standpoint, I think it's pretty nice. From a message standpoint, I sent you one.
Yes, I would say as an oblique answer to your question here, yes, to kind of the embedded question here. Does X want Y? Yes. Certainly. Forgive me for I always have Discord minimized, so I like never see updates.
Oh, that's fine. Is Nothing Gold still here, or did you already?
No,
turn?
she's here. She's like, "Are you connecting with the sword? You have an interesting expression on your face. I know that expression. How can I help?"
You said you. You have a dealer in mind for that painting.
She says yes, but it's, you know, there's like a split second of hesitation, as in she's not sure where this is going. You need the right person to appreciate the true value of things. You know, sometimes some people don't know what they have.
That rings true to you, Euros.
She looks down at the sword and back up at Euros.
Revisiting the group inside the Temple of the Radiant Heart. Taldred, Roger Dale seems rather satisfied with himself. Ada, Gasmere, Brenner. What are you guys up to? Approaching Walter Forbes, it sounds, maybe?
Did we see Taldred go in and out of this room?
You saw Taldred, if you were coming up, you can tell me, if you were coming up on this, you saw Taldred stick his head in and leave almost immediately and have some type of whispery and weird conversation with a whispery and weird guy at the bottom of the stairs.
I think I would go into the room.
You
Brenner
find
completely oblivious to this would do the same.
you find an ever
It's
smiling.
going in as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut off two of you there. My mistake. You find an ever smiling Walter Forbes. Well, the miners. I've already heard that you brought 3 of them back. What happened? Fill me in. I want to hear all about it.
I would like to hear, Mr. Forbes, is why we were sent to a supposedly iron mine that actually had a mithril vein.
He tilts his head. That seems rather implausible. I can't imagine that if that was the case, that Cole Cormier would not have mined it out years ago.
You doubt our word.
I don't doubt your word whatsoever. However, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, well, very little makes sense here, which is why we are asking these questions.
Ask away.
Tell us about Alex.
I know nothing of her, simply that she was a minor.
Oh,
I know very little about the individual people involved in this. Simply that they are invaluable to the war effort. What
business now
so?
belongs to the gods because she has expired.
expired? An interesting turn of phrase. Gasmere, what do you know? Listen, Gasmere, you didn't kill her, did you?
I did.
He turns to look at you. Brenner Oswick, killing one of your intended targets to save?
And
How
unfortunately,
peculiar. I'm sure you have an explanation.
Do you need one?
I do. Yes.
He points to Ada.
His gaze now falls over to Ada. Ah, this plot has such twists and turns.
one of your miners was a necromancer of Cyric.
One of my miners, not my miners, was a necromancer of Cyric. I presume that's the one that you killed.
You are correct.
This is a concerning change of events. How do you know they were a necromancer of Cyric?
I just know.
I understand things like that. Intuition can be powerful. No argument here. But I still, something about this doesn't sound quite right. So you killed her. The other miners, they would corroborate this. Were I to go and ask them?
I believe they would, although they're quite embarrassed about having let her into their company.
Embarrassed. Not typically a emotion I would associate with people who are of the earth. But if you say so, Adaworthware. Well, you look a bit worse for wear too, I imagine, he says, staring into your eyes.
What did you just say?
You look a bit worse for wear. I say this without a hint of spite, only sympathy.
Yeah, it was a tough time. Now listen. If you send us on another one of these missions where you don't know the metes and bounds of it, it will be a problem for us. We were caught unawares by this situation, and I think we deserve the intel that you actually have that you're withholding from us.
As you wish. Should you think that I am withholding something, please go get your companion to cast Zone of Truth. I will tell you anything I know, but there are some things in this world that I simply will not know.
We'll have to dispel the zone of incompetence first. Why did you send us there?
Because we needed the miners. You got 3 of them. It sounds like one was a necromancer of Cyric, so I suppose I'm glad you didn't bring her back.
It sounded as if the 4th miner that we dispatched was preventing the 3 miners from returning. And I get the sense that there are larger forces at work with this mine.
Larger forces at work. Now I get the impression you're not telling me something.
There are many
Why
things.
these miners? Why these particular miners?
Lissa Gastmere, because they're the best at what they do, and there's not many people like that. Good help is hard to get in this day and age.
And what exactly is so important that you needed them? Is there another mine?
He knocks on a pauldron that's not there. Whoops, I guess that works better if I'm wearing a bit of armor, but isn't there another mine? You go find one. If it's so easy, you go mine it. Truly, we are all very thankful that you've done your duty, but I'm not sure why you must be so adversarial. We had a feeling that something could have been... We had a feeling there could have been unknown factors preventing them from coming back. We knew that you were all quite versed in combat, defending yourself against necromancers, so it's best that we sent you, don't you agree?
Yes, well, even we weren't prepared for the Githyanki and the Spelljammer. What do you know about that?
I know absolutely nothing about that, and I have a funny feeling you just made that up.
Gastmere looks at Ada.
The Githyanki and a Spelljammer. Where is your associate with the Zone of Truth? Could you call him in here?
He's
No,
about
you
as
cannot.
useful as the nipples on a lizard.
That does not necessarily fit our dossier, but perhaps we've met different lizards.
Wait, what? So he has seen lizards with nipples before? I'm so confused.
We
Who
are
is that?
telling the truth.
Oh?
Oh, is that all you have to say?
I must say, it will take a bit of time to ruminate on this one. Githyanki and a Spelljammer sounds a bit peculiar.
Did I gouge my own eye out?
I certainly hope not.
Me too.
The Githyanki gouged your eye out?
They would have.
They would have.
Perhaps you should mark that down somewhere so you don't forget, because I get the feeling that we might see them again in about, what was it, 5 days?
That's right.
A precise measurement, 5 days. In 5 days, we'll encounter the Githyanki. Well, I suppose I must give you an allowance here. I have promised you a bit of a prophecy from our realm, so if you have one as well, I suppose I'll give it some credence. Reasonable. In 5 days, the Githyanki will arrive. Okay. I suppose I have no choice but to believe you.
The more pressing issue for your town seems to be the invasion of the Zentarum.
That is correct, yes. And thankfully, you arrived just in time. I would suggest you get a good night's rest if you can, because we anticipate that the Zent will strike first thing tomorrow morning at the break of dawn.
Give me
can't argue
more
with that.
information.
I will give you all the information I have. We think that they will mount a conventional attack. That is to say, we think that they sense that we are weakened. They are right. We lack martial power. They are right. We think that they will strike the northeast gate. Smithfield has seen it. We don't know exactly what the attack will look like. However, in the morning, we would love your input as to how we should array our defenses. We suspect a conventional attack. Knights in the field, perhaps. The Zent employ many mercenaries. It could be anyone from the Fist to the Orcs.
I will look to Brenner Oswick when he mentions something about tactical prowess.
You're telling me that your knight contingent has no tactician. You have no commander to lead you.
You're
You called
looking
me in.
You're looking at me. I'm the best tactician you've got. I would love your input and help. Again, we hired you for a reason. We did not select you randomly.
Ah, hired. Thank you for reminding me.
That's right. You will find something here that many people do not have. Food.
So you're paying us in food.
No. I'm still listing things. Wait 1 second. Housing. Safety.
I feel very safe.
You should. I personally assure your safety.
When you need
Don't-
to speak to your knight's errand.
In the morning, we will have a tactical brief. You must be there. Brenner Oswick, we want you to help us.
Agreed. I will lend you that aid. What I meant by this is we've been assaulted by one of your contingent.
You've been assaulted.
I
Who's
thought
stealing
safety
guns, yeah.
was 1/3 of the things you were offering us.
One at a time. Brenner Oswick, you were assaulted. I want to hear about the details of this assault first. In the streets? On the streets of
In your
Arabel?
temple, in your house.
By whom?
He says incredibly condescending. I did not catch her name. She blonde, yes, obviously from the icon.
He
Across the table.
taking it in the table. He nods his head. Okay. Did you say something you shouldn't have? Look, he answers his own question. Tempers are running a bit high here. Let's just all do our best to put on a happy face and make sure that we're doing our best to have a concordance here inside the temple grounds at the very least. Would that be too much to ask, Mr. Oswick? I will speak to my knights as well.
That is my tactical advice.
I'm hoping to get more from you tomorrow morning. We have quite a few things that we would like to help you array. Checking outside at the East Rose Market with Euros and Nothing Gold.
Has Euros reached some sort of internal concord?
He's internally conflicted.
You do. You have a sense of conflict within yourself. It's strange to be pulled two directions at once, and yet this happens to you all the time, Euros. Certainly you know that trying to take this thing would be a tall order, at the least. You know better than to be cut in half. Nothing Gold. You have a sense that Euros is quite conflicted internally, in a way that eclipses the way that most people struggle to make a decision. There's something more going on here. You can't put your finger on it or even anything close to it, but the concern that weighs down Euros' head reminds you of a human aphorism. Heavy is the crown.
You don't just want this sword, you need it in some way, don't you?
In a sense.
Can you tell me anything about that?
Not that you'll understand. For one that
Try
does not
me.
wield weapons, I don't think you would understand
No, try me.
the need of a blade of quality. I don't think I have time to discuss it. Sir, you mentioned picking this up on the battlefield or from people sent to your way, yes?
That's exactly right.
Right, and you are familiar with the jurisdictions of the Flaming Fists? Now, you are peddling black market goods, correct? And
What
I
are
am
you
in need of
doing?
this
What are
weapon.
you doing? What are you doing?
So, are you perhaps willing to
No,
negotiate?
no, we're going.
I will just shoo you away.
She will not accept that.
So,
Yoros, this is our
here's-
only contact
Would
in
you-
this city. You are not going to threaten his livelihood.
I
How
am not
dare
threatening
you?
his livelihood, not so whatsoever. Now, my good sir, the Flaming Fist
I will
can
call
be,
the guards over here, Yoros.
the Flaming Fist can be malleable, so I will make you a deal. If you can
She
donate
will
this sword
turn.
for my cause, I am willing to overlook this.
She will turn and go get a guard.
Okay, let's do these at the same time. Nothing gold. Go get a guard. Euros, speak your piece.
You are peddling black market wares. I understand what you're trying to do is for profit, and I can agree with that. However, the circumstances surround it, not so ethical. However, the Flaming Fists operates in a jurisdiction, and I am forced to enforce justice where I see fit. However, we need equipment to carry out this justice. If you're willing to donate this sword, I didn't see anything.
Donate is not in my vocabulary. This is a commercial transaction. He crosses his thin arms.
Yes, and upholding fair and equal market is also one of the jobs of the Fists.
What seems unequal here? This is
The
the
game.
gold is the
illicit
ultimate
gain of
equalizer.
goods, of course.
Illicit,
Yes.
the right of conquest, my friend.
Is that what it is?
You know that this is the philosophy of the Zent. He's not lying.
I know he's not. You have a right to a conquest, and I have a right to uphold the laws and carry out what is deemed the best thing to do. So, I am simply just asking you donate this equipment, and I will be on my merry way, and nothing will come to your ventures.
He looks unmoved. You feel as if the long arm of the fist is just outside the city here. You wonder if circumstances were changed, if this intimidation would work. However, right now, this merchant holds strong. He feels like he's in his element. He feels well.
And I roll to intimidate. To be more aggressive. The
You
fists may not have complete jurisdiction, but they are forever moving. Do you really want to be on their list when they finally make it here fully and in full capacity?
should you choose to roll intimidation And should you choose to go further down this road, you may escalate this by rolling intimidation. You try to intimidate this merchant.
I use my inspiration roll.
What was that a question? You're adding inspiration?
Yeah.
This is the bardic inspiration from watching Taldred work. So add 1d6. So it's the same as bardic inspiration. You've been very patient with this.
That's 16.
A total of 16. You do your best to intimidate this merchant, and you have a feeling that...
There's more.
Oh, there's more? Okay.
Let me find it.
So while you're looking it up, let me go back to the inside of the Temple of the Radiant Heart. Gasmir Ada Brenner, care to resume your wild accusations about Spelljammers and the Yankee?
Your Brenner, you were. Good question. Where is your tactician?
Other than you? Right here. What questions do you have?
Certainly, we can't provide everything for the city other than what was it? Food, housing, and questionable safety?
You don't feel safe? Imagine how everyone outside the city walls feels.
Just as soon as Forbes says that the tactician is right there, as in Forbes is the tactician, Gasper rolls her eyes so hard it looks like it probably hurts.
He notices and smiles at you. If you have input, I would love to hear your suggestions. If nothing else, we take serving you very seriously here. If you have significant tactical or strategic input, I would love to hear it tomorrow morning as we set up our order of battle to fight the Zentarum. Does that sound good, Mr. Gasmer, having control over the order of battle?
Yes, I'm sure that will be very entertaining.
That's not the word that I would pick, but whatever keeps you on this side of our cause.
I assume you have scout posted throughout the night.
That is exactly right. And all tomorrow morning, every 15 minutes, a scout will come by to let us know about the advance of the Zentarum troops toward the gate. We will have more warning than ever of this attack.
Phenomenal. Wake me if they're there early. As he starts to leave the room.
I'll follow.
Last question.
Lissa Gastmere, your question.
You don't appear to have any information on this expired miner currently, but is it possible to get some manner of a background check?
That is an excellent idea and something that I considered as well as soon as you said that she was a necromancer of Cyric. Now, what I would do, were I you, I believe you already spoke with Maris. She's a follower of Cyric herself. Perhaps she would be an excellent resource for errant members of her flock.
She may be something less than neutral on the matter, but yes, noted.
You may wish to... Again, I know that you may not believe in me as a tactician, but you may wish to slow roll your questions. Perhaps if you're subtle enough with her, you may not reveal your entire hand. Wouldn't it be fun to hoodwink a priestess of Cyric?
Yes, I do know a few people who would find that extremely amusing. I shall be sure to pass this along to them.
He gives you a respectful bow. As you wish, as you see fit.
Carry on with the preparations then. I shall take my rest. She turns around and leaves.
You do so, checking in outside, wherein, Euros, you are intimidating this black market merchant. Where?
Sent you a message.
Okay. I think, independent of all of this, you try to intimidate this merchant. You know instinctively that what you're doing is, kind of rattling your saber. He's not going to give up, 1/10 of the value of his stock for free, right? You know you're not going to convince this guy to give up this sword. You do know that by poking him here, you're sending him a message, a strong message, something that'll probably resonate with him for some time. The fist has an eye on him, and the fist wants these things. And you are also telegraphing something to nothing gold, that something deep inside of you wants this thing. You're not able to convince him to simply give it up for you, but you have certainly exhibited something important for him, which is, A, you, Euros, are a member of the Flaming Fist and here and want this thing and are not really willing to take no for an answer. And 2, you wonder if maybe if you had more of a crowd here and perhaps you outnumbered him, if you might find more ground to intimidate him. But you can't get him to give this sword up for free.
Gosh, if only you had some mithril, huh?
I mean, I could just leave with it.
Was that across the table or in
That was
character?
across the table.
Okay.
Yours, in his frustration, will hand the sword back, and he will simply state, "I will give you time to think this over."
The merchant takes it and covetously puts it back under the protection of his animated armor, putting it behind him. He looks suspicious.
Just think it over.
He looks like he's not really going to think it over. From the group outside, any other actions here at the market? Feel free to continue to spar with this merchant. But any other actions here in the market? Anything else?
Nothing Old was going to do something independent of this. I think that probably when she went to get the guard, she went off in such a fiery rage that even the ends of her hair were smoking a little. But after getting some distance away and thinking about it, she's like, we'll just leave that be. And her intention with the rest of the time in the market is she simply wants to introduce herself to each merchant, everybody who has a stall, so that they know her name, they know that she can mend things, and that rather than looking for gold, she's interested in information. If anyone seems like they speak that language, she would then ask them, keep an eye on people who purchase things from the grim-faced merchant, because she's curious about that.
Roll 2 things. Roll insight and history.
I'll add 4, so 16.
16 on the insight.
Yes, on the insight.
You infer a couple things as you're ingratiating yourself to the sundry merchants here, such as the glass blower, such as the farrier. You are able to solidify something that you were just on the cusp of earlier. That accent from that merchant, it's like east of the Dragon's Reach for sure, but even farther east than that, somewhere high in the desert. You as you're asking around, you learn of the existence of something. There's a shop just to the west here, Prime Materiel, that you've seen before. You remember seeing that it had odd hours. You notice that it must be open here in the dead of night. Very peculiar. Going back to inside the Temple of the Radiant Heart. Anyone up to anything? Or it sounds like the group in here has mostly concluded and is looking to bathe and rest. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It is becoming rather late in the night here. And Euros and Nothing Gold, we bounce back to you.
She rolled a 13 on her history check in case that governed something different.
That does govern something different. Give me 1 second. You notice that most commoners and people who... You notice that this grim merchant, people are giving him a wide berth.
Can she ask someone about that? So, sort of be like, hey, what's up with that guy?
You don't even need a conversation. It's a little odd that someone who represents something that the city is ostensibly arrayed against is here selling things. It's very clear to you without any roll or any type of inference what's going on.
But it doesn't seem like there was personal conflict. It's not like somebody was like, oh, he stole my sword.
Correct. The only theft of sword that you can think of is you and Euros had a bit of a tense situation there.
So I think when she's done talking to everybody and introducing herself, I think maybe by that point Euros has sort of finished his interaction. Does that seem fair? So she'll appear behind him, sort of just like he approached her at the very beginning.
I think that's...
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. I was going to say, I agree. I think that yes, your respective mini threads there converge at the same point. And I'm sorry, Euros, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so probably she will be walking up by the time I say, think it over, and I will take turn and I will start to walk away. So the moment she starts to walk up to me, I will say that, and then I will turn around and I will be facing her. And I will simply just start walking.
You turn. You are facing her. She's much shorter than you. It's kind of... it's a bit comical. You have to look down.
Does he meet her eyes? Or is it complete, like, doesn't even look at her, just walks straight past?
When I turn around, I will glance. You will hit my peripheral vision. I will look down and see you.
Okay. She would be walking beside him unless he's, like, purposefully trying to outrun her.
No, I will just simply say, come along now.
I think I can see how that ended. The only thing I wish to express in the future is that the flames are not here now, but I am.
And the flames are here in me. So.
And see where that got you. We could have been more powerful together, Euros.
Well,
I could have gotten you what you wanted.
Some things just don't go to plan. It's okay. He's thinking it over, and we will check back.
He's going to ask for more money next time. You've given your hand away.
Will he?
He knows that it's of particular interest to you. He will want something in return.
Yes, but if he also wants a stable business, he would give a discount at the minimum.
But you're not engaging in stable business practices.
And where is he?
Why did you want it? What about it appealed to you? That's all. I'm just curious. I'm not asking for secrets. I'm not gonna sell you out to anybody.
There's a certain charm to it, I suppose.
The
Something
enchantment?
Not the enchantment, just something resonates. There's something more to it, and I am interested.
Did you recognize it?
Not specifically. But I do know a fine weapon when I've held one.
And do you usually get them like that?
Not always. Well, sometimes in the past, some are far more cooperative. When the flaming fists come knocking, so to speak.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you something a little more pointed. If we see Zent in the future, are you always going to be so aggressive towards them?
No. Unless they have something I'm interested in.
She internalizes something from that. So it's just swords.
Could be. Could be anything. I have an eye of for curiosities, I suppose.
And I'm very good at finding them. So again, I am a resource, Yoros.
Very well, I will keep it in mind.
Euros, you also know that you're not far off the target here. The Flaming Fist is a serious power in this area of the realms, and you wonder when some of these people will get the memo and realize that your organizational power does in fact wield considerable strength here.
They will come to know that the Flaming Fist will be here soon, and anybody that isn't, we'll send them to the boiler. It's that easy.
Sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Wait, is this a cult?
No.
Sorry, what is this?
Anyone familiar with the boiler?
Are you threatening me?
No, I'm merely asking if you are informed. One of our great treasures.
Evidently not. What is this boiler? Does it make tea?
In a sense.
She seems to lose interest.
I'm just gonna start heading to the temple.
The night grows late. Nothing gold. Do you accompany Euros? Do you follow Euros independently?
Yeah, I think they're still walking together. Like, she would still be chattering about probably inane things at this point.
You accompany each other, chatting inanely about nothing in particular, trying to make small talk to diffuse a bit of the anxiety between the two of you. You arrive.
The resentment.
Much better word, thank you. Yes. Resentment starts to fester. You arrive together here once again at the Temple of the Radiant Heart.
I suppose we should find our companions and check in on the miners. Although I'm sure they have taken care of them by now.
Yeah, they seem to have it well in hand.
Well, how much Talger was fussing over it, I'd be surprised if they weren't.
Yeah, he's a pretty powerful healer, isn't he?
He's better than most I've seen.
That's incredibly rare in these times. Most people do not wish to heal.
Well, most battle medics generally just carry around a bandage, spit on the wound, and tell you to get over it.
And what about you? What did you do for the miners?
What did I do for them?
You were helping them, were you not?
Yes, I helped fed them, watered them. Followed instructions as I do best.
Who do you report to?
Across the table.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
I don't have my commander's name written down.
Oh, in those cases, I sometimes will say, like, oh, he says his commander's name, and you can fill it in later.
Okay, we'll just do that. I will state to you my commander's name.
She internalizes this. A certain priestess might be asked about him later. But yeah, I think doesn't seem like there are many people around as we're wandering in. Do you know where we're going, Euros?
Inward. I imagine we just keep walking towards the back. We will stumble upon somebody eventually.
It's not terribly hard to find. You know where Walt Forbes' office is, and you hear the chatter of your group at the bottom of the stairs here.
Yeah, see, I told you. We just keep walking, and there they are.
I'll reconvene then.
You are
Yes.
once again all together. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What does it say? Horses have been successfully returned. Paul was grateful. You hear
Carl.
What did I say? Paul? I meant Carl.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just gonna keep calling him Paul.
That's amazing.
I
That was
imagine I'll
Paul.
be upstairs at this point.
Should you choose to be, yes.
I should choose to be.
You do so. And I know that we are across the table. I'm going to cut this session here because Dave has to go in 2 minutes, and you're driving tonight, right? So it is such that I want Dave to get out on time because it's almost 11 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
I have an important question for everyone to ask sequentially. Okay, please do not take this question lightly because no is an acceptable answer to either of these questions. Okay, I'm not just asking these for my sake. One at a time. I'm just going arbitrarily in the order of cameras. Actually, no. A sub question first. Are you setting a watch order? Are you setting? Are you doing anything like that here? Anything other than restful sleep? Something that I wanted to do, but we're just not going to have time. If you eat food, I'd love to know that in your character chat. Watch order? Any? No watch? I see a bunch of no's.
Walt Forbes said we'd be safe.
You trust Walt Forbes. Done. No watch order. 1. Ada Worthware. Do you dream?
Yeah, I imagine I do.
Do dreams matter, Ada?
I imagine they do.
You imagine so. Brenner Oswick. Do you dream?
Yes.
And does it matter?
More than he likes.
More than you'd like. Nothing gold. I want to see that in a second, guys. Really? Nothing gold. Do you dream?
Yes.
And does it matter to you? It doesn't. It does not. Got it. Euros. Do you dream?
I do.
Does it matter?
Probably.
Taldred. Do you dream?
You know he does.
Is it consequential?
Always is.
Gastmere. Do you dream?
Perhaps the beast within does, but Gasmere does not.
Noted. Does it matter to you?
Yes.
Noted. May I see that eye one more time? Or will you take a picture of this and post it in a Avernus chat?
Yeah, please.
We make that a server sticker.
That's really funny. I love the optic nerve. Okay, well, Dave, you have to go. Everybody, thank you for the session. Everyone's good for next week, right? Give me a thumbs up. Same
Yes.
same place, same time. Awesome. You guys are the best. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
On your drive, be safe.
Yeah, be safe.